very good evening to you and many thanks for joining us. This is the 27th of March, the year 2024. Indeed, it's a day that we have much and more lined up for you. But first thing first, our top stories tonight.
Tonight, the painful reminder. Kindiki says government to build a memorial at Chakama Ranch to serve as a reminder of Shakahola massacre. Fast-track education reforms. Gachagua tells TSC and Ministry of Education to spearhead the implementation of education reforms. Also tonight, fake fertilizer nightmare. Farmers buy manure mix with sand from National Cereals and Produce Board in Embu. Plus, invest in TVETs. Shipping and Maritime Affairs PS urge Kenyans to embrace TVETs to boost export financing.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Alright, my co-pilot tonight is Sheila Kinyaga. Remember, you can follow this broadcast on all of our social media platforms. We are live on YouTube at KUTVNEWS Live. You can tweet me on X at Auma Evans. Remember to use the hashtag Primetime News. So tonight we begin Primetime News with matters education, where Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has asked the Ministry of Education and the Teachers Service Commission (TSE) to establish a technical team to lead the implementation of the recommendations of the Presidential Working Party on education reforms. Gachagua has stated that the parallel reforms by the two agencies are counterproductive, as Edward Nyamu now reports.
In a meeting with the leadership of the Ministry of Education and Teacher Service Commission, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua called on the two agencies to come up with a task force that will lead the implementation of the recommendations of the Presidential Working Force on education reforms. Gachagua states that parallel reforms by the two agencies will be counterproductive.
The purpose of this meeting is for me to establish a technical team and the Chief of Staff. I've done the same for the police and the National Police Service Commission to harmonize the various views from the TSC and the Ministry of Education and have a common stand on the implementation of the recommendations. We don't want a parallel effort because it will not help the process.
The Deputy President added that the technical team will lead in the establishment of a common strategy of considering the respective mandates and needs of the Ministry of Education and TSC and other stakeholders.
The education sector is so important to our administration and to the country. That is why we have appropriated 27% of the national budget to the education sector, and the importance of learning and our children and the sensitivity around the school space. We cannot afford to get it wrong. There is beauty in harmony.
Cabinet Secretary for Education Ezekiel Machogu said the ministry is ready to work with TSC in raising reforms that respond to the development needs of the country. The Cabinet Secretary added that such collaboration will hasten processing of requisite procedures, cabinet memos, and other documents, with the chairperson of TSC, Jamrik Muturi, supporting the sentiments from the two leaders.
People may have divergent opinions, but there should be a forum where all those divergent opinions are brought together, harmonized, and then we get a common good. So muendelee, mutakubaliana, si ndio? Asanteni.
Upon assumption of office, President William Ruto established the Presidential Working Party on Education, which delivered a report with recommendations after extensive engagements with key stakeholders. The President committed to implementing the recommendations to transform the education sector to support development. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
Now, something really sick is happening in the agriculture sector. Now, farmers in Murundiko, Kirinyaga County now says that the government has swindled them into buying goats compost manure mixed with sand from the National Cereals and Produce Board depot in Embu, disguised as subsidized fertilizer just a day after Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi said that government fertilizers were scientifically tested and approved before circulation to farmers. This story was produced by Linda Momanyi.
Farmers in Kirinyaga County expressed their anger while urging the government to conduct investigations after they bought goat manure mixed with sand from the National Cereal and Produce Board in Embu Depot. Led by Devin Karatai, the farmers in Mugamba's Shiura area now want answers from the government concerning the fake fertilizer they bought.
Fertilizer iko na mavi ya mbuzi, inanuka mbuzi, iko na mpaka manyoya ya mbuzi. Na sasa sofa hatuna njia nyingine ya kudhibitisha kama hii fertilizer ni fertilizer mzuri ama ni fertilizer mbaya. Sisi tumekwama katikati, tumeshindwa tutapanda na nini, bado tunangojea majibu, hatujui twende pande gani, hatujui tuangalia wapi. Senator alituambia tukimwona tunaona fertilizer, sasa sisi tunaona fertilizer yenye iko na mavi ya mbuzi, tunashindwa kama senator wetu anakaa namna hii.
James Mushira Muriuki states that farmers are still with the alleged fake fertilizer in their homes, awaiting answers from the member of County Assembly whom they informed of their misfortunes. The farmers now want the government to take actions against those selling fake fertilizers to innocent Kenyans.
Serikali yetu ya Bwana Ruto mlituahidi ya kwamba wakulima watafaidika kutokana na mipango ya serikali. Lakini mipango tunaiona saa hii sioni kama ni mipango ambayo inaweza weka mkulima motisha wa kuendelea kufanya kazi. Sababu nikipanda fertilizer ya aina hii mazao yangu yapungue hata zaidi, basi nitabaki maskini hoya.
The National Cereal Produce Board depot in Embu has also been put on the spotlight to explain how subsidized fertilizer turned into goat manure mixed with sand.
Tunaona tutapata njaa sana kama wakati huu hatujapanda na mvua inaendelea kunyesha, tutafanya nini? Na tutakuwa na njaa tu. Serikali yetu, tafadhalini kujeni mtusaidie.
As this unfolds, Agriculture CS Mithika Linturi yesterday in Kuresoya affirmed that government fertilizer is tested and approved before circulation, attributing the sale of fake fertilizers to cartels who want to frustrate the government's plan in boosting agriculture. The Kenya Bureau of Standards through Wajibika na KEBS campaign is calling upon Kenyans to report products that do not meet the required standards through KEBS email info@kebs.org or call their toll-free number 1545.
Now, switching gears to Shakahola massacre. Now, unidentified bodies of the Shakahola victims will be buried at Chakama Ranch as the government moves to acquire 4,000 acres of land, or rather the ranch, after the government degazetted other parts of the ranch, terming it as a crime scene. And as Yvonne Kemuma reports, the government aims to set up a memorial in honor of those who died in the cult on the 4,000-acre piece of land.
National government through the Ministry of Interior led by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has announced plans to acquire 4,000 acres of the Chakama Ranch in Kilifi for the establishment of a memorial in honor of the Shakahola cult victims. According to Kindiki, the place is expected to serve as the final resting place for unidentified victims of the cult and also serve as a reminder of the tragic events that occurred at the Chakama Ranch. Kindiki, who spoke on Wednesday, noted that the remaining portion of the ranch, which was previously gazetted as a crime scene, has been degazetted. However, the remaining 4,000 acres designated for the memorial will remain under scrutiny until further notice.
The government has decided that that parcel, the 4,000, will be compulsorily taken by government, and it is going to be used to, first of all, rest any of our brothers and sisters or our children who lost their lives, but either they cannot be identified for whatever reason.
In his address, Kindiki also made a pledge to hold all government officials found neglecting their duties accountable. He assured that once an injunction against the Commission of Inquiry appointed by President William Ruto is lifted, action will be taken against those responsible for any offences.
Construct a memorial on that property so that it remains a permanent reminder of what happened in our country. As I've said, this is the worst security attack ever to occur on the soil of Kenya. It's a complicated crime involving murder of many people, and it has taken quite a bit, but we are on course with the primary suspect and some of the key people. But we have also other lower-ranking people whom we shall also be taken into court in a short while.
The move is set to provide closure for the victims' families, ensure justice through legal process, and serve as a permanent reminder of the tragic events that occurred. Yvonne Kimuma, KUTV.
And Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has urged the private sector to work with the government instead of seeing them as competitors, a move aimed at growing the country's economy. And as Gracious Aganda explains in the following report, Mudavadi said diaspora remittance are higher than the country's revenue and that there is need to restore agriculture to its former state.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi on Wednesday morning, while attending the Financial Agriculture Sustainable Conference 2024, urged the government to reduce bureaucracies and increase access to credit so as to enable the growth of the private sector. According to the Prime CS, promoting the public-private sectors is essential in leveraging the strengths and weaknesses of both sectors.
We must not look at the private sector as an opposition. So when you're engaging with the private sector, don't look at them as an opposition and therefore in the process create unnecessary bureaucracy and hurdles because the mentality is that you want to frustrate the opposition. Let's look at the private sector as partners.
Mudavadi also urged the private sector to be reasonable in pricing to avoid customer exploitation, terming it as greed.
There's nothing wrong in having a profit motive. But when the profit motive turns into greed, then that is where the problem arises. If on the other hand, you're the private sector and you're given an opportunity, perhaps to bridge a certain gap, whether it is rice or edible oil, for heaven's sake on your part, have integrity.
The Prime Cabinet Secretary added that diaspora remittance has exceeded the agricultural sector in the country, challenging the agricultural sector to retake its glory, since the government cannot only depend on diaspora remittance.
Foreign or diaspora remittances have now exceeded our earnings, our foreign exchange earnings. So this is a challenge. How do we get back the agricultural sector? How do we get back the tea? How do we get back the coffee? How do we get back the floriculture and horticulture to be at the top?
Musalia has pledged to work hand in hand with his agricultural counterpart Mithika Linturi in empowering the agricultural sector. The government in its place has vowed to provide modern farming equipment to small-scale farmers to boost them financially. Gracious Aganda, KUTV.
And now Kenyatta University on Wednesday hosted a virtual public debate on national values and principles of governance aimed at highlighting its role in promoting sustainable development through trade. The debate highlighted measures to be taken by the government to lead an export-driven economy. Anyango Sylvia with the details.
In a Kenyatta University virtual meeting that brought together stakeholders in various departments across the country, Principal Secretary of State Department for Shipping and Maritime Affairs, Geoffrey Kaituko, who is also the chief guest in his presentation, outlined the significance and impact of national values, including promoting ethical conduct like integrity and accountability, enhancing trust and legitimacy in government institutions to encourage citizen participation in governance processes, achieving sustainable development through upholding of principles like equity and securing national unity by respecting diversity and promoting inclusivity. Drawing lessons from South Korea's national values, Germany's export-based economy, Sri Lanka's excess borrowing tragedy, Kaituko noted that the only way to increase our export is through investment in education and skill training like South Korea did in the 70s, promoting innovation and technology adoption, improving infrastructure, enhancing trade agreements, supporting export-oriented industries, ensuring quality standards, and providing export financing. This is in line with President William Ruto's call for budgets and expenditures to be subjected to rigorous audit to eliminate abuse of public resources while leveraging on technology to maximize on the value for money and boost service delivery.
We must rationalize. We must make it much more efficient. We must deal firmly and decisively with pilferage and wastage and theft and the so evident corruption. It is the only way we are going to deliver the services that the people of Kenya expect of us, manage their taxes well, cut down on expenditure, reduce on borrowing.
However, the implementation of national values faces a number of challenges, including weak government structures leading to below-average compliance, weak enforcement, rigid culture, limited capacity, and corruption that undermine accountability and trust. According to PS Kaituko, the challenges can be mitigated through strengthening legal frameworks to establish career standards and oversight mechanisms, promoting integrity, building capacity by equipping officers with skills to be applied in the day-to-day work, engaging citizens in holding officials accountable, and promoting leadership by example in upholding national values. Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
Right, that story by Anyango Sylvia takes us to our first break here on KUTV Primetime News. Remember, plenty more to follow after the break.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Welcome back. Now, NTV journalist Rita Tinina has finally been laid to rest today at her parents' home in Olekirikirai in Narok County, with fellow journalists and political leaders eulogizing her as a trailblazing journalist. The late journalist Tinina's final journey started earlier today when the family and friends gathered at Auma's funeral home to pick up her body and then proceeded to her resting place in Narok. President William Ruto eulogized NTV's journalist Rita Tinina as an excellent journalist and a storyteller in a statement read by Press Secretary for the Presidential Communication Service, Emmanuel Talim, at the burial ceremony. The president described Tinina as a passionate media professional who did her work with commitment. Speeches were made from other leaders, family representatives, friends and colleagues from different media houses, and Rita Tinina was buried to her resting place. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Now, members of Kiambu County Assembly have defended Governor Kimani Wamatangi's initiative of promoting chicken rearing as they warned other legislators against meddling in the county affairs. The governor has been under criticism from Kiambu parliamentarians over his donation of chicken to household, which they claim is unaccountable.
As National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah and Senator Karungo Wathang'wa criticized Governor Wamatangi over his donations of chicks to households, Kiambu member of county assemblies led by Kiambu Ward MCA Francis Koina maintained that the project was approved by the county assembly and the MPs should leave the governor alone. Kahawa Sukari Ward Representative Kennedy Odhiambo said that 86 MCAs passed the law allowing the governor to implement the chick rearing projects, among others, including milk for ECDC pupils. Those who have issues with the initiative to question members of the county assembly and not Governor Wamatangi.
Wamatangi anajua kazi yake. Si mulichagua MCA, mukachagua MP, mukachukua women rep, mukachukua senator, na governor, na rais. Sasa iko katiba inasema MP afanyie governor kazi. Nini sisi governor huyu Wamatangi alikuja na program ya kuku, akakuja na program ya mbolea, na akakuja na program ya uji ya watoto, na akakuja na program ya masiwa, na akakuja na program. Sisi kama MCA watu 86, sisi ndio tulipitisha hiyo pesa, hawa mama wapewe hizo vitu.
Komodhai Ward MCA Waweru Nyetu addressed the people of Kiambu and told them that every leader who comes should not feed them with lies about other political leaders, but instead should keep their word. Every leader should come with their own story because each one of them is given money by the government to help the people.
Kiongozi yeyote atakuja akuwa naongea maneno nini yake. Munamuuliza wewe, acha kutumia maneno ya ule mwingine, tuambie wewe unatufanyia nini, si ndio? Na msiwahi itikia hata siku moja. Mtu akuja amwambie huyu kiongozi ni mbaya, huyu ni mbaya, huyu ni mbaya, hapana. Mtu akuja naongea storia kwa sababu kila mtu ako na pesa yenye amepewa na government akuja fanyie kazi, leo.
Since the launch of the program, thousands of residents have received chicks, which will soon transform them into entrepreneurs, enabling them to generate income from the venture. Yvonne Kemuma, KUTV.
Now it's time for sporty action. The national football team, Harambee Stars, is expected to jet back into the country after their triumph in just concluded Four Nations tournament in Malawi. Kenya wound up their campaign yesterday with a 3-1 victory against Zimbabwe in the finals, ending their campaign without tasting defeat. Harambee Stars is now unbeaten in 3 outings. Still matters football. Former Harambee Stars players Matthew Otamax, Wycliffe Kasaya, and Tom Ogweno are among the 6 active and non-active players that have taken KUTV coaching course in Buruburu, Nairobi County. The 10-day course under the tutelage of Football Kenya Federation instructors Stephen Ochola and Salim Ali seeks to expose grassroots coaches with technical skills and expertise to nurture the next generation of footballers.
Understanding of the game, tena ukiwa in the coaching department is ni different sana na ukiwa on the ground. So ni vitu nimeanza kulana, ni siku mbili nimepata vitu kadhaa, but I think with the next 10 days I'll get a lot and nimejua difference sasa ni kubwa sana. Ukishakuwa na basics na uko experience na uko na hizi certificates, ukienda mtaani hata kucoach academy ama timu ya mtaani, unaleta mtoi kwa kitu in future akipata national team ama hapo juu kwa youth teams anapata kitu amepata chini amefika nao. Si ati mtu anafika hapo juu anastuka na hizi vitu zimetokea wapi.
Yeah, there's that narrative that if you've played for long that you can definitely be a coach, and sincerely I can tell them that is very wrong, especially after being in this class. I thought I knew, only to realize that I don't know. So there is so much to learn, and hapo kwa transitioning it is advisable that once you're done playing and umeretire, ni poa ukuje tu class so that you learn.
Now, it is system all set ahead of the World Rally Championship set to kick off officially on Thursday, 28th of March with the first real action scheduled at 8 a.m. at the Ndulile Conservancy, a scenic location just 23 kilometers off the Moi North Lake Road from Naivasha town. The event will be flagged off officially tomorrow by President William Ruto in Nairobi before all roads head to Naivasha for the 19th competitive stage in the rally proper that runs from Friday through to Sunday. Precious people, it's a wind up. Many thanks for those who made this production a success. My name is Auma. Sheila Kinyaga has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Until next time, do have a lovely night. And of course, keep a date tomorrow by the grace of God. Let's meet here, same time, same place. Good night.